Hi, Julianne.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Now,
Good.
we had some confusion. Some people went into the my personal meeting number. So I have to hold on
Yeah,
one second. I'm gonna
no problem.
I'm gonna send them an email saying, please come to this one.
Okay. Super.
Okay, we got some of you here. Still trying to work on the others who are in the wrong room. Good to see you, Andrea. We're looking beautiful as always. Okay, I'm not sure who was in the other room. So we got Rachel and Tyler,
Good evening.
Shara.
Sorry, Tyler. I'm still calling you.
Rachel, you look younger for some reason. I think you got the board and got younger. Sold a house or something. Okay, maybe it was Frank. Let's see. I don't know why. Well, why don't we see if I. Okay, I think we'll get started. I just texted everybody, and I know Peter's coming late, and Fran said he couldn't make it. So, but Fran's an expert on this stuff, so that's fine. So, let's start with successes. And it's been a while, and you guys have been manifesting magicians, I see, over these last few weeks. So, let me just share what's happened to me in just the last few days. I was at a Mike Dooley conference called Solapalooza, and at that conference, a woman, Sabrina Soto, I don't know if any of you know her. She's a HGTV home makeover host. She's actually on a show called the High Low Project and Real Estate Intervention and Get It Sold. So she spoke, and I had this epiphany that I was supposed to speak to her. So I went up. There was time for questions. I jumped on. Hi, Chara. So I jumped on the mic and asked her if there's any way she could help me help others become financially free. And she said, sure, DM her, which I did. And I said, if there any way to get on. She also has a podcast called Abundance and Manifestation. So I asked her if there's any way to get on her podcast. She said, sure, this week or next. I said, this week would be great. So 2.5 hours ago, I was on her podcast, which has 10 to 15,000 downloads every week. So that was a nice success. The other success was I've already had 2 people sign up for the next small group. And so you guys, I'm going to keep it to 10. So unfortunately, well, maybe everyone on this call right now can get in, but not the other 2. And so if you're interested, I'm going to give you guys to the end of the month. But I haven't like excluded you, but at some point I'm going to have to, because I don't want it to be more than 10 people. So, and the other thing that happened, as one of those two people, I had the first time where I had a call and the person signed up on the call right away. And then the other thing that happened this weekend was I sold out all the books that I brought. I actually had people coming to me on Sunday asking me where my books were, and I said, you got to buy them online now. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So who else wants to share? We'll take 3, 4, 5 minutes.
I'll share if it's okay.
Absolutely, Frank. Thanks.
I told you that I did that summit.
Yes.
I got 230 people that's downloaded my digital book.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So now I'm looking to leverage that to get some one-on-one coaching. I signed up 2 people, both in Australia, one in New Zealand, one in Australia.
Awesome.
Didn't sign them up for my full, what I would normally charge, but I decided I'm going to give scholarships wherever I can, because I need to get the cash in the house. And there are a couple of other people that are on the line.
Great.
So I'm excited, and my energy's back. I just feel like my energy's back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
I believe in you.
Anyone else want to share success, money manifestations?
I'll go next. So, am I on?
You are on.
You're muted. Okay. I remember the big carpet deal. I was wondering, I
Yes.
really worked hard. I would light every day this candle that says, money come here. And I thought about it, and that it came so easily. The contractor one day brought over to not even my office, but my home, the check for the carpet for a big office project that I'm working on. And then I just did my billing for the month, which is a lot. And I kind of went backwards a little bit by getting nervous about, is he going to understand the time that it took to do all this work? Because time billing is a little different. And when I'm working on a residential project, I usually am not charging for all my time. I'm selling a lot of product. But this, the commercial jobs I get on product too. So tomorrow is a big presentation where I'm going to be showing them a lot of furniture and things of that nature purchased through me, as well as all my time. So that's good. And then went to another residential client today and sold him some carpet. So the money's coming in.
How much was that commercial deal that was that bid space?
Well, the carpet deal was like $24,000. And
how
then
much was the net deal?
And then about $7,000 of it is mine.
Awesome.
And then, but then I'm billing them like $5,300 tomorrow for my time for the month. So
Well,
that's
why
another
can't you just
$5,300.
no,
What?
he's gonna know that your time is valuable, and he's gonna accept it as fine, and you're gonna be so happy when you have the $5,300 and in your bank account, and it's there, and you're smiling and happy.
Yes, I'm working on that. I went back, I did go backwards a little bit, talking to a couple people, and then it's like, but I did the work, and I even did more, a little bit more than that, but I like to help people too. So there's that part of me. But I didn't want, I feel good about what I'm billing.
Did you spend to make that $5,300?
What was that?
How many hours was that $5,300?
Well, I'm $210 an hour. So I don't have the math in my head right now. You figure
That's
it.
26 and a half hours. That's my math.
Yeah. In 1 month.
So 26 and a half hours. I know your time is much more valuable than $200 an hour. So that's nothing.
Okay.
That should be.
It just so you know, in Minnesota, I'm one of the highest priced interior designers. So there's people that are
creating the most value.
Yeah, I am. I believe that, but some of them are at 100 to 150.
So stop comparing yourself to anybody else.
Yeah. I do have a lot of value.
Yeah, but stop comparing yourself to anybody else.
Right. Yep.
Did we lose somebody,
True.
or who was that?
What a game.
I think somebody joined.
Yes. Hi, Joel. Pete Pemko's joined.
Hey, Peter.
Hello.
We're still doing our rounds of successes. We're running a little bit late, but thanks for joining. Yeah, so, yeah, Julianne, I think stop comparing yourself. Like, we shouldn't ever compare ourselves to anybody else. We're our own unique, powerful
Right.
universe.
And I want to start attracting clients, higher end clients, maybe that even live in other areas. And they,
Right.
you know, like I did get some of that where I was sent to California, but I want more of that now, where I get sent to other places.
It's coming.
And I'm working with the stars. I mean, Kelly Clarkson will be a client of mine.
Well, as Mike says, like, don't attach to one specific
Right.
person or thing. And that's when you get bogged down the cursed house.
True.
So it's not Kelly Clarkson. It's just some amazing singer, songwriter, star who's generating millions of dollars and can pay you $1,000 an hour. Doesn't matter who it is.
Okay, you have to get me to say I'm $1,000 an hour.
You are. In my mind, you are.
Okay.
You are worthy of massive wealth.
Okay.
I am worthy of massive wealth. Every day, I am worthy of massive wealth.
Okay. Writing it down.
Anyone else want to share some?
I have one. I shared it on the Facebook group.
Yes.
I think the point of it, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was I had a CRA debt from 2013 that just had been like kind of sitting there. It was like $5,000, and I was like, oh, like I got to pay this off. And a couple months ago, I had got my everything to, like all my documents together, sent it in, and I was like, oh, I'm probably still gonna owe like a couple $1,000s. It was all like it was transit passes that were missing from the assessment or something. Anyways, on Sunday I woke up and I had like a refund, like a tax refund for $700, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Haven't had a tax refund in forever. And then I looked at my like CRA like balance. I don't know if it's different Canada, US, but I looked at my balance and it was gone. So I think sometimes you don't really like money comes in all different kinds of forms, and it comes in like the least expected ways where you're just like, okay, great. Like now I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So
Jenna, that was great manifestation because it does, like, that's a great point. It can come from anywhere at any time from any place as long as you're open to receiving. So it could be a client, or it could be that briefcase sitting on the side of the road that you pick up and you call the number on, and it's, you know, this guy who pulls up in the Lamborghini with, oh my God, you know, you just saved my life and here's a check for $1 million. Like,
yeah.
right. It's the world is abundant. I mean, there's almost an infinite amount of wealth on the earth, right? I've said it before, but there's $420 trillion on this, the net worth of all companies and individuals on this earth. And there's only 7.5 billion individuals. So that's more than $5 million per person. That's how abundant this earth is. So yeah, it doesn't matter where it comes from. That's a really important point to know. And
Yeah.
it'd be great if it came, you know, because of more clients,
Mm-hmm.
but if it comes from a tax refund,
That's coming too. It's just it wasn't like how you just like sometimes you're like, oh, like if I get I'll receive the money and then I'll pay it, but it just sometimes will come in a different form, which was cool.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to share before we go into the week session?
I could as well. I had some good success the last little bit. So the private school that I was booked to do, I confirmed and went in and certified their physical education staff, which was great to finally get done, because it had been, I guess the conversation started in February, and you know, we finally landed on the date in November, which was great. And so it was a good day to work with them. good opportunity with the school here, and could be other schools now that I've went into the private school. There's a lot of private schools in the GTA, so good opportunity for that. And then for me to do the certification, my next one's coming up on next Saturday. So I have 12 people that are paid for and paid for in full and signed up, reserved for the course. I usually take 20 people as a max for the class. So I have 12 in right now, and there's interest. So I mean, I can end up with a sold out course for next Saturday, or maybe a few shy. But in any event, it's been really good momentum. So.
How were you doing like 2 or 3 or 4 months ago when you did this course? Is this an improvement, hopefully?
Yeah, no, it is. The last course I did, like on my own that I hosted, there were 6 people that were attended in August. I don't know if it was because of summer. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons, but in any event, it's the momentum's kind of come back now, and it's been really positive. Like I said, along with the people that have signed up, I've got a lot of people that have reached out that have interest. Sometimes the dates work, sometimes they don't, but in any event, there's a lot of people that are in the pipeline that are aware of it and interested in being a part of it when the time's right. So it's all positive.
Well, let's chalk it up to the positive energy that's created in this group, and
oh yeah,
leave it at that. How's that?
Yeah.
Take it.
Cool. So do you guys want to, I know we had a little bit of mixed reaction. I know a lot of you on the Facebook group enjoyed the abundance meditation we did 3 or 4 weeks ago. I know that some of you found it very powerful. So I'll ask for a consensus. If I get at least, let's see, there's 3, 6, 8. Yeah, if we get at least 6, I think let's do it. We get a hand raise. Who wants to do it?
Say that again. What is it?
The abundance meditation that we did.
Yeah.
So we got, okay. How about I'll do this. I'll do a half. We'll do it short, a shortened version. 3.5 minutes, and then we'll start going on the 5-step stock screen. So I want everybody close your eyes and take a deep breath. Take a deep breath in. Then through your mouth, out through your nose. Another deep breath in. And out. One more in. Feel your body getting relaxed. I'm going to stand in your shoes and say words that are of greatest advantage to you. So breathe in and breathe out. The stream of abundance flows generously to you, and it is right and it is time for you to receive your fair share. Breathe in and breathe out. This will be easy for you to do, and it will not take much time because you are already well along your way. Breathe in. Breathe out. There is great power in these words you're listening to, and in time your resistance will subside and your allowing will begin. Breathe in. Breathe out. As your doubt is replaced with belief, your prosperity will become obvious. My words will help you shift your feelings about money from worry and fear to expectation and fun. Once that shift occurs, immediate manifestations will be evidence of that shift. Breathe in. And breathe out. When I can convince you that the path to abundance and prosperity is an emotional path, with the hearing of these words, you will breathe in more abundance and your feelings will improve. You are not deprived when someone else gains because abundance expands proportionately to match desires. Breathe in, breathe out. When you feel so grateful at the success of someone else, your resistance is gone and your own success must come. Breathe in, breathe out. The fastest way to get to an improved financial condition is to look for pleasing things you already have. In the seeking and finding of that which is working, more success will come, and it will come quickly. Breathe in, breathe out. Your life must call more abundance and prosperity to you, but the majority of your work has already been done. And now, with far less effort than you have been believing, your financial condition is about to improve. Massive abundance does not come into your life only because of hard work, and in most cases, not at all because of hard work or good luck or favoritism. Abundance comes into your life because of your consistent thoughts and feelings of abundance and prosperity. When you are able to feel the feeling of abundance and prosperity before the evidence occurs in your physical reality, the evidence must come, and it will come as long as you maintain the feeling of prosperity. Breathe in, breathe out. Anytime you are feeling good, you're actually feeling the feeling of abundance. In your absence of resistance, everything you have asked for, everything you have asked for is making its way right to you. Each time you listen to these words, your allowance becomes greater and abundance must begin flowing to you. With each passing day, your vibrational point of attraction will change until there's an obvious tipping point. For a while, your only perceived progress will be your improved emotional state of being. And if you let that be enough, the improvement in your financial well-being must show up. I am so grateful for you. I want to let you know that it is my absolute promise to you that abundance you are seeking is on its way to you. You're doing awesome. Abundance is flowing to you. Relax and enjoy the unfolding. I want you to breathe in and breathe out a couple more times. Slowly coming back to center. Feel appreciation for what is and eagerness for what is coming. You can open your eyes and open your minds. You guys all ready for some 5-step stock screen now?
Sure.
Great. So I'm gonna share my screen with you. Hopefully you guys are feeling incredibly abundant now. So tell me if you see my screen. Lots of numbers and a chart.
Yep.
So this is the company that one of you asked me about called Beyond Meat, BYND. So we're going to go through the 5-step stock screen. I want you to ask me a ton of questions. If nothing makes sense or all of it makes sense or whatever, just ask questions. Okay, so the first step in the 5-step stock screen is we look at earnings. And we look at the earnings for the current quarter, compared to the earnings in the prior year's quarter. So this screen shows, if you see in the top left, 28 September 19. So we look down, can you see my cursor?
Yes.
So this company made 6 cents.
Joel, can you make that a little bit bigger? It's like this big on my screen.
Let's see if I can.
If not, I'll handle it, but I just can't. Does anybody else see it really small?
Yeah.
Or not?
I don't know if this is any better.
Mm.
So this is highlighted here. This is where it's coming from, which is the actual 10Q, which is a statement that the company files. So here is 6 cents. That's what the company made this quarter. Earnings per share. That's their earnings divided by their weighted average shares, which is here 66 million. And then last year it lost $1.45. So what we do is we take this quarter's earnings divided by last year's earnings. And this is kind of tough example, but so usually you're dividing two positive numbers. Company made money each quarter, but in this case, they lost a lot of money last quarter, last year's third quarter. So let's just say it's infinite, right? If you divide 6 cents by 0, say, you get infinity. Any number divided by 0 is infinity. So let's just say they grew their earnings an infinite amount. We're talking about abundance here, so that's an infinite amount. So that's step 1 of my 5-step stock screen. So we write down infinity. Second step is to compare the revenues of the company this quarter to the revenues last quarter. So here you see the number 91961. You can see that. I know it's a little small.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can. Oh, here I can. Sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So here's 91961, and if we go down, let's see. So here's the 6 cents, and here's the minus $1.45, and we're just taking 0 because it's infinite. So the next step would be to check revenues, and you take the revenues for this year's quarter divided by last year's quarter. So it would be 91961 divided by 26277 is 3.49. Now I want to get it in percentage terms, so we subtract 1. So it's 91961 divided by 26277 minus 1 gets you 250%. So the revenues grew 250% is step 2. So let me step back. The first step was we wanted to see if earnings were growing at least 10%. And infinity is more than 10%. So step 1 is yes. And we're doing these 5 steps because we want to see if the stock meets all 5 steps, we'll buy it, or we may do more research. Some of my clients, they just do the 5 steps. It meets the 5 steps every quarter. They keep on buying it. If it doesn't, they don't buy it. So step 1 is the earnings growth for this quarter more than 10%? And the answer is yes, infinite is more than 10%. So then we go to step 2. Step 2 is the revenues greater than 5%? And we just calculated, what was the number? Anybody remember it?
205.
250%, right? So 250% is more than 5%. So we go to step 3. Step 3 is step 1 more than step 2? So So is Infinity more than 250%? It is.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're on to step 4. So let's go back to this screen. So step 4, we want to know, is the earnings per share growth, which we calculated in step 1, which was infinite, more than the PE? So the PE of this company is the price divided by the earnings for the year. Now, this company, you can do earnings 2 different ways. You can take the earnings for the quarter and multiply by 4, and that's the earnings for the year. You want to so P divided by E is the price divided by the earnings, but the E is for 4 quarters. So we have the
writing
earnings.
this down?
Mhm.
Should we be writing this down, or are we gonna get like?
I believe it's being recorded.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get the recording this time. I'm going to save it online as opposed to my computer. Yeah, so we should have it online.
Okay.
But if you want to write it down, you can.
Joel,
Yes.
is it possible to do this BYND and write it down for step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5? So I need to like visually look at the numbers and find it on the chart, because I'm just not used to looking at these type of charts.
That's fine. That's fine.
What I mean, after you can send it after the class,
Yep.
so I can study it
Of course.
and have
And you'll get the recording too, so you'll see. And the other thing you guys might want to do is go to Yahoo Finance and try to find the numbers too there, because this is FactSet, which is a system I use, but you may not have FactSet because you have to pay for it. So you may want to try to find the numbers that we're going through on the recording on Yahoo Finance. So, okay, so step 4 is you want to see if the price divided by earnings is less than the earnings per share growth. We know the answer is yes, because the earnings per share growth is infinite, right? So anything's less than infinite. But let's just calculate the PE anyway, because it's important to calculate the PE. So the PE is the price divided by the earnings. So the price right now, you see here, is $80.43. See it? See where my cursor is pointing to?
Mhm.
So $80.43. Now the earnings, remember, was 6 cents, but that's just for 1 quarter. And we want to get the earnings for a full year. So there's 3 ways to do this actually. So we'll calculate all 3 ways just so you know them. So the first way is you take the 6 cents and you multiply by 4 to get 4 quarters. Does that make sense? We have 1 quarter, the 3rd quarter of earnings. We say, well, let's multiply that by 4 so we have a full year's worth of earnings. So that would be 24 cents. And then to get the PE, we take $80.43 divided by 24 cents, and that's 335. Now that's a very high PE, but the earnings growth was infinite, so it's 335 is less than infinity. Now the other way to do it is you would take the earnings to the last 4 quarters. So then we have all the numbers here, right? We have 6 cents. I don't know if you could see, it's kind of small. We have minus 24 cents. And then we have minus 24 cents and minus 5 cents. No, 95 cents. So we get a negative number. I can do the math. 6 cents minus 24 minus 24 minus 95. So we got a negative $1.37. That's a little weird. We have a negative PE, which means that if the company's not making any money, I just don't calculate the PE. I think the PE is infinite. So we kind of have an infinite PE and an infinite earnings per share. So this is a little weird company, but let's do the 5th step because it appears that it's past. Oh, let me calculate the PE one more way. So the third way to calculate the PE is to look at the future earnings and calculate
Oh, what's the PE?
the price divided by the earnings per share.
Okay.
So the price here was $80.43, and the earnings was
Price
either
divided
6
with the
cents
earnings per-
times 4 or the total. So now the third way to calculate the PE is to look at forward earnings, to look at what the analysts who cover the company think the future earnings will be. These are the professionals who cover the company. So here in the snapshot page, we get the future. Here's 2020. And the analysts, this is the average of all the analysts who cover the company. They think the company is going to earn 36 cents next year. So you would divide $80.43 divided by 36 cents, and you would get 223 PE. Now, just for context, the most PE or most price earnings ratios are like 8 or 9 or 10 or 15. Basically, a PE is, this is how much you pay for a company, and it's basically the percentage that you expect the company to grow forever. So if the PE is 10, you expect the company to grow 10% forever. If the PE is 8, you expect the company to grow 8% forever. So this PE is 223, which means that investors who are buying this company think that it's going to grow 223% forever, which is impossible.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
The market capitalization of this company will be bigger than Apple in 5 years, right? So it's just
Doesn't make sense.
right.
Well, isn't step one if you got to believe in the stock?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people believe in Beyond Meat. I don't know if you know this company, but it's plant processed meats,
I'm not touching it.
and it's gone. So look at this. By the way, here's the chart. I think we looked at the chart initially in that first screen there, but I don't know if I can. Let's see if I can. Where was price summary? But just an aside here. So it had its initial public offering in May.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dropping hard.
And it went from 80 to 250. So it tripled. So at 250, people were paying, what was that? We said it was 36 cents. 250 divided by 36. People were paying 700 times earnings. So they were expecting earnings to go up 7 times every single year forever.
Well,
That's what that means. So now look,
That's
it does,
great.
just because a stock is expensive doesn't mean it can't get more expensive. When it was at 600 times, it went to 694 times. So things can get crazy and get even more crazy, right? It doesn't mean that the stock can't go up even if it fails my stock screen. It just means that the likelihood of you to make money over the long term in this stock is lower compared to the company that does pass, right? And
I have one quick question. How come you look through the lens of it being always making 10% or 8% for forever when there is such fluctuation? Like even for this example, as you see it went up and then back down, the earnings aren't going to be consistent, right?
well, that's just the price. We were just looking at the price here. This is not earnings. This is just the price of the stock.
Oh,
Okay.
So the earnings we looked at, it made 6 cents this past quarter, and then the prior 3 quarters it lost 24 cents, lost 24 cents, lost 95 cents. So, and then it's supposed to make 36 cents all of 2020. So 36 divided by 4 is 9 cents. So it's going to average 9 cents per quarter next year. Right. So and then of course people are expecting it to earn probably $1 the year after that. So if it earns like 30, this year it lost money, next year it earns 36 cents, the year after it earns $1, then it's only trading at 80 this $80.43 divided by $1 is 80 times, right? If the stock doesn't move from here and in 2 years it makes $1, then it's not so, it's still very expensive according to everything I look at, but 80 times is cheaper than 223 times or 335 times earnings, right? So the point is people are expecting this company to grow their earnings massively over the next 3 years. Otherwise, they wouldn't be paying even $80. You know, to pay $250, you have to assume that they're going to be earning $5 sometime in the next 5 or 7 years, and they're earning $3, and the professional analysts say next year they earn 36 cents. So basically, anyone who's buying the stock at 250 thinks that they're gonna be earning like 10 times or 20 times the amount of money that they're making right now. But let's get to the fifth step. The fifth step is maybe the most interesting. So it's not, those first 4 steps are all like, I call them fundamental steps. You're looking at the company, how much money they made, how much sales they got. And the third step is really their operating margin. So you're looking to see if their earnings are growing faster than their sales. And earnings divided by sales is called operating earnings. So you're looking to see if their operating margin is improving. So all those steps, and even the fourth step to see if the earnings growth is higher than the PE, is kind of like all based on fundamentals. The fifth step is based on the stock price. So what we do is we look at when did the company report their earnings. So there's a few ways to get this, but here, well, this is next report date. Here, event calendar. So here was the earnings call on October 28th at 4:30. So the company reported their earnings on October 28th after the market closed. The market closed at 4 o'clock. They reported their earnings after the market closed. So we want to look how the stock did on the next day, October 29th. So I don't know if you guys can see this. So on October 29th, the stock went down 22%. Right here. Do you see that number? It's a little small.
That's 28, 29.
On October 29th, yes. So they reported on the 28th after the market closed. So you don't care about the 28th because no one had the information about their earnings. But on the 29th, everyone did have the information. They had their earnings call at 4:30 on the 28th. And now on the 29th, and you also see the amount of shares traded. Here's this column. The second column is shares traded. They traded 32 million shares on October 29th. So you could see the stock normally trades 2, 3, 4 million. The day before, of course, it traded 9 million. And then the day of earnings, 32 million shares. And it went down 22%. So what you want to see is, the only thing you want to see is, did the stock go up or down on earnings? And if the stock went up and it met the other 4 steps, then it passed and you would buy it. So this stock met the first 4 steps, right? So its earning growth was infinite. The revenue growth was, what did we say? It was very high. But it wasn't infinite. 250%. Thank you. So revenue growth was 250%. So the third step, infinity, is more than 250%. So we went to step 4. Step 4 was the PE less than earnings growth, even though the PE was, depending how we calculated, 335 or 223. It's less than infinity. And now we're like, okay, this is really exciting. Let's see if it passes the 5th step. 5th step is, how did the stock do on earnings? Went down 22%. Don't touch it. Now, stock doesn't move 22% ever. I mean, if you see a stock move 22%, it may happen once every 5 years. So this stock went down 22%. It went down to 81.99. Here we are a couple of weeks later. It's a little bit lower. But generally what you're trying to say is what happens on earnings is everybody who owns a stock, everybody who wants to own the stock, the professional analysts listen to the earnings call, talk to management. They get a lot of information. So all we're doing here is it's another way to assimilate all the information that's coming out during that one day and saying, what does all these people who really care about this company, what did they do based on that earnings report? Now, clearly the earnings report was very good, right? They made 6 cents. It was infinite growth. Revenues grew 250%. All that's good on the face of it, right? Like if you didn't know this company at all, you didn't know anything about it, and you just had all those first 4 numbers, you would say, wow, this is great. They're growing earnings by 250%. Their earnings growth were infinite. You know, they lost money last year. Now they're making money. Things look good. If you didn't know the stock price, you'd say, wow, this is great. Now, the reason why the stock went down 22% is expectations, right? So expectations were extremely high for this company to make a lot more money probably, even though maybe the analysts expected them to earn 10 cents and they only earned 6. Or maybe they said on the earnings call, you know, I know you guys think we're supposed to earn 50 cents next year. We're only going to earn 36. Or maybe an analyst downgraded them. Or maybe, you know, the company management said something that made them look less smart than people thought they were. All this stuff gets into the stock price that day. All that information. So we don't have to listen to the earnings call. We don't have to do any of that stuff. All that is reflected in that one-day stock price. And what that says is probably for the next 3 months, it's going to underperform or not. You know, the stock price is probably not going to go up for the next 3 months at least. So that's my 5-step stock screen. More questions?
So I guess that stock, would you look at it because of how it's sort of, you know, going up and down in the numbers that are being presented here as an opportunity to get in on it because there could be earning potential, or to maybe not touch it because of the expectation being greater than what could be here? Yeah,
so I truly blindly use my 5-step stock screen. I completely blindly use it. And I know some people may say, wait a second, why you do that? I say, because I've been using it for years and it's massively outperformed the stock market. And I don't have the time now because I'm coaching people and I'm working on a big project. I don't have the time to follow all these, you know, these few stocks that I own every day, all day. So I do my 5-step stock screen every quarter and I blindly use it. So if a stock goes down on earnings, I sell it. And so this one, it's down 22. I mean, sometimes, generally a stock will move 1% up or down, maybe 2 or 3%. But for a stock to move down 22% tells me there's no way I'm touching this thing for 3 months. Now, who knows? It could be up 5% or down 5%. It could outperform, you know, other stocks. But my view is the likelihood that this stock is going to do really well over the next 3 months is very low. So I'd rather just wait for the next earnings and maybe I miss 5%, but I probably wouldn't be looking, for me anyway, in general, it's hard for me. It's my belief that I'd rather not own a stock that has a PE that's this high. Like even if they outperform next quarter, they'll have a PE of 223 for next year. It just, I prefer stocks that have PEs of 8 or 10 or 15. Like all this, there's not one stock I own right now that has a PE more than 12. So I'm looking for companies that have low PEs and have high earnings per share growth. So the EPS growth, what we just calculated in the first step, is more than 10, 12%. And the PE is less than that. And the revenue growth is at least 5%. And the earnings growth is at least 10%, and the stock does well. I think those stocks are going to do much better than, you know, this expectations maybe now pushed low enough that it's, you know, this stock should do better. But good question, Ryan. Thank you. Any other questions on this? We could go quickly through another one if anybody wants to look at another
I've got a
stock.
quick one. When we were looking step one at the EPS, that first screen there was basic and diluted. What's the difference, and why are we looking at diluted?
Great question, Tyler. Thank you. So basic is all the shares that are outstanding right now, and diluted takes into account any additional shares like stock options. Like if I am an employee of a company, the company gives me options on the stock, and maybe it's not available to me right now, but it will be next year. So the calculation of diluted takes into account all those options that are issued to employees, the management, the CEO, maybe the board. So it's a conservative way to calculate the earnings per share. And so I don't like to say always and never, but I always use diluted earnings per share. It's the most conservative, and I want to make sure the company passes the stock screen under the most conservative method.
Thank you.
Sure. Does anyone want to look at another stock quickly? This was a unique situation because it just had its initial public.
Yeah, I'd like to see one if you can
Could
pick.
you do Rakuten? Can you look at Rakuten?
What's the symbol? Do you know?
Rakuten, I don't know.
How do you spell it?
R-A, hey, sorry. What
Should be RAKUTEN, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
you
go.
just passed it.
So
Accent Ventures. Is that it?
no, it's private. So this first one looks like it trades on the Japanese exchange. RAKUTEN?
Does anyone know what it is?
Well, let's see.
It's
Don't they sell consumer products? It used to be Ebates.
Yeah, it's like you get money back. I don't know.
Yeah, they used to be Ebates.
Yep.
So
Yes,
everything
it
you
is.
purchase, you get like money back, but or something like
Yes,
that.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a Japanese company. So it
Okay.
trades at 942 yen. So let's see. It's just numbers. So, okay. So
Okay.
they lost about 84 yen per share this past September quarter. They reported a couple of days ago. So it doesn't, right? If you have a negative number, it doesn't pass because you're trying to get growth, and this is down from here. September last year was 31.9 diluted earnings per share, yen per share, and this one's minus.
Wow.
So it wouldn't pass. So step one, it fails. Here's step two, which is 319 divided by 2. So it looks like it passed the revenues, but then step three would be no go either because you're negative. This is a loss.
How do you know that it's yens? Like it doesn't
Right
say
here.
that
I'll
it's
show it
not
at the
where.
time.
Right here, see
Okay,
my
I
cursor?
see it. Yep. So every country has their currency. You see
Well,
that?
there's euros and dollars and yen and Swiss francs and pounds.
What about like shekels, small countries?
Yeah, there are shekels in Israel.
Joel, do you have an example that's around the 10 or the 12%, like that you said that you'd prefer to work with, just so that we can maybe have a clearer picture on it?
Yeah. So the
Because look at even their cost.
Actually, you did write the BYND out for me. I just noticed.
I
You
did.
sent it to me, like a list of what it did, like explained it.
Good.
Mhm.
So this is a bank, Hilltop Holdings. So they made 86 cents this quarter. And I think this is, let's see. let's go to standardized. Yeah, so they made 86 cents and last year 38 cents. So 86 divided by 38, so that's 226%, minus 1 is 100. So earnings grew 126%. And the bank's kind of weird, but let's see. So we have, here's interest income. So a bank makes money on your your mortgages that you have in the bank. You know, you're paying them 4, 5, 6%. And then they also make fees on like your checking account if you bounce a check or if you have to pay a fee for whatever. So this 162 you have to add to here, not interest income. So 162 plus 341. So 503 is this quarter's interest and non-interest income. And then last year was 148 and 270. So that's 418. So 503 divided by 418 minus 1 is 20%. So revenues grew 20%. And what did we say earnings grew? Anybody write it down?
126%.
Okay. Right. So earnings grew. So step one is earnings per share growth greater than 10%? It's 126. Yes. Step two is revenues growing greater than 5%. 20% is greater than 5. True. Step three is 1 greater than 2. So 126% is greater than 20%. That's true. Then step 4 is what's the PE? So we took 20, here's the stock price, 24.9. And what'd they make in the quarter? 86 cents.
Yeah.
So 24.9 divided by 0.86 times 4. That's $3.44. So 24.9 divided by 3.44 is 7.2 times. So the PE is 7.2 times based on this quarter's earnings. And the EPS growth was 126%. So the PE using just this quarter's earnings is less than the earnings per share growth. Then the other way we did it is you just add up the 4 quarters prior. So it's 0.86 plus 0.62 plus 0.41 plus 0.3. So the last 4 quarters, they earned $2.19. So 24.9 divided by 2.19 is 11.4, call it. So the PE based on the last 4 quarters is 11.4. And we said the earnings per share growth is 126%. So either using just the quarter or the trailing 12 months, the 4 quarters prior, the earnings per share growth is more. And then the third way we said to look at it is what is the future earnings? So what's the 20? So here's the 2020 earnings. It looks like they're supposed to earn $2.05. So 24.9 divided by 2.05 is 12. So 12 is also less than the 126%. So it passed step 4. Does anybody remember step 5?
Check the date.
Right. So we got to check when did they report earnings. So event calendar. So here they reported earnings on November 1st, and it looks like they had their call in the morning. So we look at the same day, November 1st. So here's the price history. So November 1st, the stock was up 4.67%. The other way, remember to check if it really was the earnings day, is look at the amount of shares traded. So it's traded 290, 390, 685, and 1.3 million shares. Well, that's a pretty good idea that that's the day. So it went up 4.67%. So up is good. It passed. So this is a stock that passed all 5 steps. And if you had bought it at the end of the day, 24.45, you'd be up about 2% right now in a little over a week. So that's a stock that has a PE, what do we say, based on future earnings of 11, based on current earnings of 7. So that's, like I said, Ryan, that's a stock that's, around those prices.
Right.
And, it's, it looks very cheap to me.
Would it still be a good stock to buy today?
It's been a week and a half and it's only gone up 2%. But I don't make stock recommendations. What's your belief level? What's your intuition say?
This one feels good compared to some of the others.
Okay. Well, maybe do a sway test. See what your intuition says. Anybody know the sway test?
You could show that the next time, Joel.
Okay.
I gotta go, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Frank.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
See you later.
Any questions on the 5-step stock screen? Should I send you the 5 steps written down for HTH and for Beyond Meat? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
How do you purchase? Oh, this might be dumb, but like, how do you purchase stocks?
There's no dumb questions. The only dumb questions are the ones you don't ask.
Yeah.
So there are different types of brokers.
Mm-hmm.
TD Ameritrade, Toronto Dominion is one. I'm sure any of the banks there, like CIBC or RBC, all have brokerage units, or you could use E-Trade E-Trade's still alone, or Charles Schwab here in the States, and you have to deposit some money. Right now, all their trading is all free, so there's no commission, at least in the US. I don't know how it is in Toronto, but in Canada, but Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, they all went to 0 commissions. So you don't have to pay anything if you're buying or selling stocks. You should check if that's true in Canada, but it's here in the US, it's true.
Okay.
So, and then I'm actually working with a specific client right now. He hadn't ever traded a stock. So I literally walked him through the process of, because you have to decide if you're going to buy the stock no matter what, or you're going to buy it with a limit. So here, Hilltop Holdings is closed today at $24.90. You say, okay, I want to buy it at $24.90. So you say you put in a limit for $24.90. But say the stock opens tomorrow at $25 and then goes to $25.10 and $25.20, $25.30, and you're like, but I really want to buy the stock. So you had a limit of $24.90 and it never saw $24.90 tomorrow, then you don't buy the stock. And if you really want to own it tomorrow, you might not want to wait till Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. You say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to buy it at $25.30, and you put in a limit at $25.31. It's trading at $25.30. You buy it. So I recommend to buy with a limit order no matter what, because you don't know, who knows, there are machines out there that see you're buying, and they may just price it up 25 cents, and then you bought it no matter what. So you put in a limit order on every single order you buy. That's what I recommend. And then you say how many shares you want to buy. So if you wanted to put in, $250 of HTH, you'd buy 10 shares at $25, and that's $250. So you decide how much you want to buy of the stock first, and then divide by the stock price to get the number of shares. So you have to put in the number of shares, the stock price, and the limit. I want to buy it at this limit. And then I talk about mindful money management in my first book. You have to have a plan in place. Have a plan in place before you buy it. Okay, I'm buying Hilltop at $25. What am I going to do if it goes down to $24, $23, or $22, or $21, or $20? Am I going to have a stop loss and say, okay, if I lose 10%, I'm done, I'm wrong, and I'm out? Or you're going to say, you know what, I've lost 10%, and this is the best opportunity out there, and I'm doubling down. And then it goes down another 10%. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to like sell everything else I own to buy this because this is the greatest opportunity out there. You know, so what's your plan? Have a plan in place, and then have a price target. We could talk about price targets next week, but you know, what is your target for the stock? I personally think it's worth like $36, so about 50% upside. So I'm not selling it until it goes to 36. But some people may say, you know what, I can't earn 10% in my checking account. If I buy it at 25 and it goes to 27.50 in a month, I'm out. I sold it, right? I made 10% in a month. I'm good. And I will say, I'm not touching it. I know it's worth 36. So what's your time horizon? Have a plan, you know, decide what you're going to do before you do it. I recommend not ever investing in anything without a plan, right? I mean, you bought a house, you know, what are you going to do? The housing market collapses 20%. You know, you need the money in the house. Well, you shouldn't be invested in the house. Houses are liquid. You can't sell it next day, right? It takes time. Maybe Rachel will debate me on that, but you know, sometimes it takes time. But with a stock, it's more liquid. You can sell it in a day, but you have to decide what's your plan. You know, if something surprises and it's down 10%, are you going to feel queasy and upset and you have all your money in this and you're like, oh my God, I just lost 10% of my money? Or you're going to be like, I know this is the best opportunity out there and I'm buying more. So have a plan with every single investment. What's your belief level? Write down your belief from 1 to 10, where 10 is absolute faith and 1 is massive doubt. There's no way I'm going to make money in this investment. And if you're not at 8, 9, or 10, don't even start. Don't invest. That's the absolute first step.
Cool.
So feel free to ask me questions before next week's session. We'll talk about price targets next week. And if there's specific, like I didn't talk at all about any terms, you know, so there's all these terms that we can go through, you know, to learn more about stocks. We didn't talk about it. If you have questions about individual terms that you want to learn about, you know, yes.
Jill, I have a question. Earlier you had sent us out the links to watch the videos of you talking about your 5 steps. And I literally watched each one of them about 3 times and took notes. But I noticed that you use a lot of terms interchangeably sometimes. Is there sort of a cheat sheet of terminology for dummies to get started and get comfortable with these terms to the point that they're, like price was one of them. Like the price of the stock versus it was just interesting to me that I have a
presentation that has like it. I don't know if it actually defines all the terms, but I have a presentation as background. So I didn't go through it because I know it was going to take much more than 30 minutes to go through. It takes probably a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do with individual clients. I go through the whole presentation and then we do the 5-step stock screen because they know all the different terms. So, but I think you guys I think you guys understood tonight pretty easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you'll get the recording, but I can go, I'll send you the 5 steps and the calculations for Beyond Meat and for HGH. And if you want, you know, I'm trying to think, like I have the presentation right here. You know, I don't think I defined any terms. It's just listing terms. Yeah, I didn't define like revenue. You know, it's like, it's just.
It's more the relationship to each other. Like it's one thing to just know the. Okay, like it's one thing to know, you know, price, you know, the PE equals, you know, whatever it was, like price per earning, and it is this, and you get it by dividing that. But the relationship of what one means to another is pretty foreign at the moment. So I'm looking to get a little bit more comfortable with that.
Understood. Okay, I'll send that presentation so you have it, and then, you know, feel free to ask questions. And I'll send you the 5 steps on each of those 2 stocks. And then next week we'll talk about price targets, but also email me if there's other things you want to go over, because, you know, this is for you guys. So I want you to get the most out of it. So tell me what else you want to do. I'll go over price targets, but if there are other things you want to learn about, if you want to do the 7-step real estate screen, we could do that. You know, so I think we have 2 more sessions. So we're meeting next week, the 21st. The week after that's Thanksgiving, and then we have the 5th. And for those who weren't, you know, I lost that recording because my computer crashed, we'll do the 12th as well. I was wondering if you guys would be okay with doing an hour later. So starting at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific that night. I don't know how many of you guys can attend anyway, but I know half of you were actually live. So I know Ryan and Jenna weren't. I don't think Rachel was either, but I think the rest of you were live.
We could do the time change. That's fine.
For the last week. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Good. Okay. So we'll see you next week. And, you know, feel free if there's any, you know, hit me up in the Facebook group or email, whatever.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
you.
Take care.
Great week.
Bye.
Keep on manifesting.
Absolutely. Bye.